guys, so thank you for checking up this video. So today's topic is very interesting. So I'll be showing you how to save your purchases from your app to Firebase using the real-time database. For an example, if your user they are buying coins in your app, then you'll be able to save these data to real-time database on Firebase. And also I will be showing you how to read this data into the app whenever the user they open the app, maybe after 2 days, 3 days, or after a year, then they can still have their coins saved from database, from Firebase, right? And also I'll be showing you how to update these coins. For an example, in my app, if you've been following up my YouTube videos, then you would know that I have a button there where it says use coins. So I'll be showing you whenever they click use coins, then we update these coins that are in real-time database. Right, enough of talking. Let me just walk you through the demo before we start with the implementations. Right, so thumbs up, let's get started. So yeah, as you can see, before we interact with the real-time database on Firebase, we'll need to implement the authentication. So we need to authenticate the user, then they will be able to come and read their database. So I've implemented the authentication Firebase here. I just enabled the password and the email sign in method. So you can choose whether to use Google, Facebook, all the other methods to sign in, all the other providers, right? So for now, I'll just create a new account and show you. So this one is my database, real-time database. So when I'm done creating the account here, it will add a record to this user's what is this, a reference or a column or a table. Let me just say a table. Yeah, so I'll have an email like demo@gmail.com. Password is gonna be 000000000. Let's just hope this is 8 zeros. If not, we'll add 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Then it looks like it's 9. Let's just make it 9. But there's a check also, so if it's not the same, it's gonna complain. Let's just sign up. So sign up successfully. You see a new record, it has been added, right? So now the user, they only have 0 coins. So whenever we add a record here, we give them 0 coins, right? So it's totally up to you. You can initially give them 10 or 20, but I've decided to give them 0 for now. So now if you can go to the authentication tab, you'll be able to see the new created account with this ID, right? So when you click buy coins, we are going to buy the coins, and also after buying the coins, we're going to update this 0 to 10, since now we are only selected the 10 coins. No, thank you. Then the purchase, it was successful. Then it's going to go and add to this 0, right? You saw that, right? So the coins, they are now updated, right? So if I go to the home main activity, there's 10 there. So let me just go back and say use coins. Then when I say use coins, it updates that there. Then I can close the app, right? I can close the app and open it again, then it's going to come and read this record here and assign 9 coins to this user ID, which is this one right here. So another cool feature that this one is that you can update these values in real time, right? So let's just make it 100 for now, then it's going to update it here to 100, right? So if you like the video, please subscribe and check out the second part of the video. This is where I'm going to show you how to implement these Firebase and the user profile, right? Thank you. The demo on the way, so let's get started, right? So bear in mind that in this video I won't be showing you how to implement in-app purchase for buying coins, because I already have a demo or a tutorial based on that. There's a demo, there's also a tutorial, so I can just go through this tutorial and then you'll be able to have your buy coin system in your application. Just want to save time, I only want to focus on the real-time database and authentication. Just want to save time on that. So before you get started, right, so open up your project and go to the build Gradle file, and you need to add these two dependencies. You need to add the dependency of firebase-auth. This one is going to handle the accounts. You'll be able to create an account, you'll be able to log in and log out and delete an account. So firebase database is the one that is going to give us access to a real-time database. So we're going to save, read and delete by using this dependence. If you decide to have a social media login methods such as Facebook, Gmail, or Twitter, Apple, so you can just import this dependence of play-services-auth, right? So you can just sync your project, so you can download these dependencies in your application, right? Once you are done, you need to go to Firebase, and then on Firebase you need to create a new real-time database. If you haven't, then go to the authentication page. Then when you get here, just go to sign in method. Then you can add this password and email sign method. Once you are done, then go to project settings, then scroll down, then you need to download this JSON file and add it into your application, right? Download it, then you can just say project settings app and paste it here. Once it's there, then you're good to go, right? So now we are done with our project setup. So now we need to move on to our classes, right? So I've got a model here which is called user, which is a class, and then I only have 3 properties here, of which is the ID. This one is gonna be the ID of the user, something like this. Whenever we sign in to ID, then we're going to use it to save to Firebase, right? So we have got an integer of coins. This one is going to store our coins, for an example 89 or something. Then we have got a boolean, which is subscribed. So I'm planning to also show you guys for subscription. If they subscribe in our app, then we need to set this boolean to true, which is subscribed, right? So if a subscription expires, we need to change this to false. So please subscribe and follow all my uploads so that you don't miss the next update on this one, because now I'm only focused on saving the coins, right? So once you have these properties, you can add as many as you want. You can add an email, name, whatsoever, and then you can just hover over to any blank line, then option generate, then you can generate the get and set. This one is auto generated. You will note that I don't have a constructor of user. Yep. So another important class that I created is under helpers, and then I've just named it firebase functions. Then if you go inside of this class, you will see that I have an instance of firebase database, which is this one, and I also have an instance of database reference. Then I have a string root path, which is users. Then this one is gonna be the database, the table or the reference where you're gonna save these users. It's definitely gonna be this one, which is users. It's total up to you if you wanna name it anything that you wanna name it. Just change this to anything that you want to name it to, right? So I've got a firebase auth, which this one is going to be for the accounts, right? And also I need a context in this class. So line 34, I've got a constructor of this class. This is where I'm going to accept the context. Then I'm going to assign it to this context. Then I'll be able to use it within this class, this context. So whenever I call this class in any of the activity, I need to pass in the context. That's why I'm receiving it here. Then this is where I get the instance of the database. So I assign it there. Then once I have the instance, I need to get the table name or the reference name, which is users. Then this one is nothing but users, right? So I've got a method here that I've defined that it's going to update my coins. Whenever I buy the coins, I'm going to use this method to update to Firebase. Whenever I want to deduct the coins, I'm going to use this method to minus or deduct the coins from Firebase or add. Yes. So here I'm using the reference of which is going to be this path of users. Then I'm saying go to users, and then there's a child of the user ID. So this method is going to accept the user ID and the coins, right? So it's gonna go to the child of users, which is the user ID. Then it's gonna go to users, and then this one is gonna be what the user ID, and then it's going to go to coins, right? So here I defined the coins here, and then it sets the value to coins, which is this one right here. And then I'm listening to the task. If the task is successful, then it's gonna say coins are updated, right? Then else fails to update. Then here I've got a simple function which is gonna go to the instance of the firebase auth, then it's gonna sign out the user. Sorry about that. So yes, this is what we're gonna need right here. All right, so now what I'm going to explain is the login screen, right? So I'll be explaining or showing you how to create an account, and after creating an account you get the user ID, then you create a new record to real-time database, right? And also whenever you log in, we get the user ID, then we read from the database, right? So if you know how to create an account using the firebase auth, you can skip this part. If not, then let's jump to the code. Then I've got a auth screen here, which is the auth activity. It's basically a simple login screen and a sign up screen, which is this one. I've got 3 edit text, a switch button that is going to toggle the password, confirm password, and also change this text from sign in to sign up, as you can see right here. So these are the 3 texts: edit text, the switch, the button, And I have got my very useful class here, which is firebase functions. We're gonna use this class a lot. So I've got a shared preference here. This shared preference is nothing but a simple shared preference. I just created this class so I can be able to set the coins and set the user ID, right? So keep that in mind. So I've got a progress bar so that whenever I click here, it's going to load to show that it's requesting a login from Firebase, right? Yes. So so I need to instantiate a new class. I need to create a new instance of this class, right? So I'm passing the object, which is the same thing here. I'm passing this to this class object because the constructor is accepting a context here, right? So now with this variable name or this class, I can be able to access anything that is inside of this class, right? I can say update coins or log out. Yes. So I'm getting these views by ID. Then I've got a switch, a simple switch. It checked if it's checked, and then if it's checked, then it's going to say sign in. If not, sign up. Just a simple code, right? So here I've got an if statement. Whenever I click this button of sign in, whenever I click this button, I've got a simple check here. It's going to check if the email is not empty, then the password cannot be empty, password must be 6 characters, and so on and so on, right? So once a check is successful, it has passed this check, right? So it's gonna come here and create a new object of this class, right? Remember, this class is the one that is going to hold our data, our user ID, the coins, and is subscribed, right? Then we're gonna use this object to add it or to create a new record to Firebase real-time database, right? So now I'm checking if it's checked, right? If it's checked, you can agree with me. If it's checked, it's a logged in. Ne? So I go to my class, I access this object of firebase-auth, simple, which is this one right here. It's nothing magical there. I went to this class and then I accessed this auth, right? So I'm calling a function of sign in. Since it's checked, I'm calling a function of sign in. Then I need to pass in the password. Sorry, I need to pass in the email and the password, right? So I'm adding a listener to this function. Then it's going to listen if the task is successful, meaning now we have logged in successfully. After logging in successfully, we need to get the current logged in user, right? So we need to just assign it there. Then after assigning it there, we need this code to read from our real-time database, right? So we just need to say from our class, go to the database reference, of which is what? Nothing else but users, which is basically this one here. We are passing the path here to users. So it goes to users and it reads the whole object of users, right? Then it's going to give me the data snapshot of everything that is here of this list, right? That's the data snapshot, which is this one right here on data change. And then I don't need the whole list of users. I only want the child of the logged in user, right? So for an example, if I'm logged in as this user, then once I say child logged in user, it's going to get the value of this type class, user class. If you can expand this, you can see this is our class. It contains the coins, the ID is subscribed. If you can go to this class, you'll notice that these are the properties that are saved on Firebase, right? Yes. Then once we get the value of that user that is logged in, then we need to save this information locally because we want to access this information to another screen, right? So we can't be calling Firebase all the time. It's going to bill us more. So this is a good practice. This is a good approach. You need to save your data locally, right? So on the value, I need to get what the ID, which is this one. Then I assign it to UID. This get and get coins and is subscribe. If you can go to our defined class, you can see it's these values right here. I mean this method right here. So they are giving us the coins. This one is giving us the ID. That is coming from database based on this type, right? So once I'm done setting these values to my local shared preference memory storage, then I want to disable or hide the progress bar. There will be a progress bar here whenever you click sign in or sign up. I'm pretty sure you saw it on my demo. So this is all it. Then once it's logged in successfully, then it's gonna go to home, right? It's gonna go to home, which is the main activity. It's just a function that I've defined right here, nothing special. Then it's going to wait only 2 seconds and go to the main activity. Else, if it failed to log in, then it's gonna go and say authentication failed, right? Authentication failed here. If there is success is false, then it's going to say authentication failed. Then on else, remember here we had switch, it's true, right? If switch is true, then sign in. If not, then it's going to be a sign up. Then we're going to use a create user with password and email. So the step is basically the same. So we're going to add the listener and we check if the law is successful. Then if it's successful, we get the current logged in user. Then the only difference here, since we are creating the user for the first time, then we need to use our object here that we defined here, so that user to add. This is the same class of user that I've defined. Don't be confused. This is the same user class that I've defined. And then then now I'm using the setters to set values here to this class, right? So this ID is coming from my user, this user from Firebase. Don't confuse this user and this user, right? This one is a Firebase user, which I've named it user. This one is my class, which I've named it user to add. So I'm setting the values here that are coming from Firebase. If you have an email, you can add an email here. If you want to add a display name, you can add a display name. So my coins, I'm giving them 15 coins for now, right? So now my class is ready to be added to the real-time database. So now I go to my instance of users, I mean my database reference users, and then create a child of the user ID, right? Then it's going to create a child of user ID, which is basically like adding this record within users, adding this record. Ne? Then it says set value. Set value is more like adding a value to this child. Then it's adding this class of user, you see, of this user to add. It contains this information right here. Then it's going to add to this child, to this ID. Then it's going to add this and that, right? So we add a listener, then we check on the listener if it's successful. If it's successful, then we are using our local shared preference to save this data. Then we need to disable our progress bar. And then that's a toast to say account is added. Then go to what is this, main activity, right? It's basically that line. So a quick demo of what I explained learning. So for an example, let me just say as that at gmail.com 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, I'm gonna click that. It's gonna process. It's gonna add a new record. Yes. Then it's gonna say account edit and take me to the home screen. See? So now it has added 15 coins, of which it's this one right here. And if you can go, I remember it was this one. Yes, this one right here. Yep. So now I will be explaining the step to update this 15 whenever the user is buying coins in the app, right? So I'll go to my buy activity. Then I have a function called give user coins. So this function is going to look through these product IDs and compare the product ID that is coming from the purchase, right? If it's the same as that, I have what is this? I've defined product IDs here. Then this product ID, it's equivalent to these 10 coins. If the product ID is the same, that I'm giving the user 10 coins, and so on and so on, right? So now here I'm getting these are the coins that I've defined up here, right? So on the given index, if it's index 0, it's going to use 10. Then it's going to get the quantity from the purchase, right? So if I do that, I go to buy coins, I wait for the product to be loaded, then I click this one. This is the first product, right? So I can add the quantity like that. So now since I've picked 10 coins, the quantity is 2, then it's going to multiply these 10 by 2, which now is 20. Then it's going to get the current saved coins, which is 15, right? Remember, it's showing 15 here, which is the current one that I have locally, right? And also the one that I have on Firebase, right? So let me just increase that. Then once I'm done purchasing that, it's going to say final coins. It takes my coins and the void coins is going to make them a final coins. Then I will come and call my class, then the function within that class. Then I'm passing the user ID that I've saved locally whenever I'm signing up or signing in, right? Remember, I have a shared preference right here that I'm setting the user ID, of which is gonna be this one. And then I'm passing the final coins. So remember, this function is going to go to the child of the ID, then update the coins and set them right here. So let's check that in action. If I go to my demo, then I tap that, it's going to update the shared preference one, which is going to be 25 or 35 years. It's going to be 35. Then coins updated, of which is this function right here. Then if we go to our Firebase, we see that the coins, they are updated, right? So yes, this is basically it. And also on the subscription, I just want to add this before I go and show you something else. On the subscription, if you want to add it in your subscription, go to validate or verify purchase. You see on verify purchase, then you set this one to 1. Then you can also call a function the same as this one, the same as this function, but instead of coins, just say subscribed, then the value true, like that, right? You get the point. Then it's gonna go to subscribe instead of coins and set the value to true. Then another thing, if the user, they are going out from the app like this, they are closing the app, right? They are closing the app. Oh, what happened? Come back. Yes, they are closing the app like that, and then I just want to update this to 300, so you can be able to see that I also have a function to read the coins. So you see now the coins, they are what? They are 350. Can come and update them again to 300 to 800, like that. So they will be updated here in real time. Alright, so now I will be showing you how to update subscriptions, right? So I'm done showing you updating coins, reading them, and also just update, right? So now, for an example, you want to update your subscription to subscribed. It's very simple. Let's go to our Firebase function and create this function. You see, it's the same code, different function name, and a different parameter at this point. So now we need to point to a subscribed, because our child is subscribed. You see, on the user ID, the child is subscribed. So then you need to pass in the boolean now as a value here instead of the coins. Then the rest remains the same. You can just update the toast message, right? So now you need to go to your subscription activity and declare a Firebase function, then create a new instance of this Firebase function. Then once you are done, you need to go to a function verify sub purchase, right? So this is where you acknowledge the purchase, the subscription. Then you need to check if everything went well. Then if everything is okay, meaning the customer has purchased your subscription, right? So you really need to say function, then update subscribed, then pass the UID, which is coming from the shared preference, and you pass in true, since this one it's true, right? So now in this case, we also have a code in our splash screen. In our splash screen, we have a function to check subscription, right? So whenever the user they open up about our application, so we need to check subscription again and again and again, right? So you can put in the information here, put the same function here, just like that. But now this one, it sets it to 0, which is false. So you need to update this one to false. It deactivates the function, right? So now let me just rerun this application. After rerunning it, I want to buy a subscription for this user. Okay, we go to subscription. Our user is QRG. So let's just open up QRG, of which is this one, right? So why is it slow? It's loading our subscriptions. Then we're gonna purchase this one, the weekly one. It's gonna verify our purchase, set to 1, and subscription updated. So that, right? So if you come, you can see that says it's true, right? So now on your main activity, this is where you need to write the same code that you are reading once the user is logged in, right? So here it's going to get the value based on this current logged in user. Then it's going to get the there is subscribed, and then within your app then you can use this one, subscribed to access this field. It's basically that. Yes, so if you like the video, please consider subscribing, and liking the video would mean a lot to me. Bye.